house cleaner to clean up your messes because you are
I'm
very messy.
I'm going to respectfully describe messy when I cook.
That's what
are
I'm talking
the
about.
queen of leaving plates sitting out. Like, we bought Bloody Mary mix because we like the taste of Bloody Marys. So we bought Bloody Mary mix, and she had a cup that had the Bloody Mary mix, the remnants of it, for 3 days sitting out. And that is the microcosm of the tornado that is Kelly Allen. And then you
allowed shrimp to fall below the burners on the stove.
Well, it got heated and cooked, so at least it's not raw.
And the whole
fish.
kitchen smelled like
It did
fish
not smell
and
like
shrimp.
fish or shrimp.
Yeah, it did.
You are lying.
I cleaned it up. You're messy. I would definitely have to hire a house cleaner to clean the kitchen and do all those things.
Can we just, so ladies and gentlemen, this is called compromising. Can we just hire a house cleaner to clean up after both of us?
That's fine.
Because both of us are not great at messes.
Okay. Yep. I would like to show the picture of you making the bed the other day.
What's going on, everybody? It's Anthony Russo from #BeTheChange. Truth will set you free. And of course, blunt force discussion, which is where you are right now. We being people, thank you guys for coming in. Turns out we've got like tens of thousands of you, so I appreciate the support. Keep watching. Each episode is getting more and more fun. And I know we had a lot of fun last week, and we're going to have more fun this week and the week after. But right now, we've got a special guest that is... It's the backup, and I hate to say she's the backup, but I knew that we would use her at one point in the most important role. She's about to be on the road for like the next month, and if you could help me out, please donate to our Patreon, because she keeps saying that this is not a job, and this is not for real. So if you want to support us, go to patreon.com/blunt force discussion. Anything will help, because I have to make her believe that this is real.
I thought you were talking about the rodeoing.
No, rodeoing is real. God, she doesn't know when to speak. She always speaks out of turn. Just kidding. Ladies and gentlemen, this is my lovely girlfriend, the one that has made it the longest in my life. And she is a barrel racer, spa owner, horse trainer. She's also full of horse shit. No, not full. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Kelly Allen. What's going on, Kelly?
Not much. Just here being the backup.
How does it feel to be the backup?
Not great.
Why does it not feel great?
Because even on the way here, you were deciding if you wanted to use me or not.
Oh, no, I mean, I wanted
on the drive here.
No, I wanted to use you, but I knew that you were a little tentative about being on the show.
Because of what you're going to ask me.
Why are you so nervous?
Because you tend to ask things that are a little inappropriate, and my parents are going to watch this.
Your parents are going to... Yeah. How old are you?
Old enough.
I think they know
I'm scared of them.
You've been married before, so it's not like they think that you're a perfect angel.
Dad thinks I'm perfect.
Your dad thinks you're perfect?
Yeah, Mom knows otherwise.
Yeah, she doesn't respond to all your messages.
Ever.
Why do you think that is?
Maybe she likes Corey better, or...
Ooh.
Or I would like to think she's just busy building her dream home.
Ah, yes.
So,
how do you feel about the colors on the dream home?
I love them.
Oh, okay, yeah. All right, so let's officially get started with this. I've got a lot of questions for you, and a lot of people don't know what barrel racing is, and I think it is a unappreciated sport. I remember when I met you, I met you 10 years ago, which we'll talk about, but I remember when we started dating, and I went to these barrel races. It meant a lot to me, more than you know, and I told you how I started actually crying, I teared up at the first the first race that I went to, the big all in whatever. Steamville. And you know why?
No.
I told you this.
Well, I don't remember. Why?
You don't listen.
You cried everything, so what did you cry about?
Okay, so you it was right during the end of middle of COVID, and I remember the fact that I was so sick of being in a city. And I go to this event where there's people that are praying beforehand. They're doing the national anthem. Nobody's wearing masks. Nobody gives a shit. And I was like, these are my people. I didn't even know what
You realize there was still normal people.
there was still normal people.
You just had to go to Stephenville to find it.
Exactly. And then I went to a rodeo like a couple months into it, and I remember like 1,000 kids running around.
Athens, yeah.
Yeah, running around like with their shoes off and playing a game, and the parents just like the snot everywhere and nobody cared. And I was like,
And then you're up there bawling your eyes out.
well, I wasn't bawling at I might have been bawling at the rodeo. But it just meant a lot. So what is it about rodeo and horses that's just different? Why are the people just different?
Different, like,
Just
as in how?
different than city people.
Oh, man. Well, I feel like we don't watch the news, so
Yeah.
we don't get caught up in all the crazy mask wearing and all that. I mean, I think we all are very busy people, so we're always outside working, we're always going places, doing things, and it's, I don't know if it's a distraction from the real world.
Yeah,
It's kind of like we live in a fantasy world, I guess.
yeah.
And so, I don't know. I don't really know why we're different.
I think it's just, and it's funny because I remember growing up as a Democrat when I was younger, that I always use that statistic about how it's all the less educated people were the red states. And now, of course, I'm red for the most part. It's so weird.
That's hilarious.
And then I'm like, why am I judging people that have a different intelligence? They didn't need to go to college. They didn't, and a lot of them did, but they didn't need to go to school for the same stuff. So it's like, I was judging them for, I was being ignorant, thinking that I was the intelligent one. And then realizing that there's a lot of people that just don't listen to the BS that's out there, and they live their own life. And you know what? I mean, you had acquaintances that passed away from COVID. Like, it was a real thing, and a lot of...
Well, I mean, the couple of people that I did know of they were overweight and they were older and they were already kind of sick. So,
Yeah.
But I mean, in general, like, I don't know anyone who is even remotely healthy that ever even ended up in the hospital, which I have my own theory on that, but...
Yeah. I apologize to our viewers that she said overweight. Fat shaming is not something that we do on this.
They were fat.
Okay. All right. So let's go back to us, because that's what people want to know about. I mean, all the hundreds and hundreds that want to know about
The
it.
two people that asked, yes.
Yeah, exactly. No, there was a lot of feedback, and again, the backup of the backup. Don't be ashamed of that, because I wanted to have you on the show. I didn't know when. It just turned out today was the perfect day because you're going to be going rodeoing for the next month and a half. I don't know if we're still going to be together when you get back, because there's a lot of rodeo boys and cowboys.
You know I love the rodeo cowboys.
Do you?
That's how I ended up with you.
I'm wearing boots. If they can see that, I got my boots.
Which you got with me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. I got that on like our third date. You were like, yeah, you if you don't own a pair of boots, we can't do this anymore. That was right before New Year's, actually.
Yes,
Yeah.
when I made you go to Tuskie's.
Which was a month into our relationship. Spend $300 that I did not have on cowboy clothes. Awesome.
Trying to impress me.
Yeah. Living on unemployment at the time because of the event industry being gone. Okay, so first let's go to Vegas, 2011, when we met. I'll let you tell the story.
I don't have a story to tell.
What do you mean you don't have a story to tell?
You tell it much better than I do. It's funnier from your point of view.
Why is it funnier? Oh, because you were too drunk that night.
I don't remember much of it, to be completely honest.
So this is what happened. First, I think I'm going to take a drink real quick before we you should probably take one too. Hey, cheers.
I don't drink anymore.
Yeah, sure you don't. Oh, that'll warm you up. No, that's 1 o'clock. Okay. So we met in Vegas at the NFR, with Nationals Finals Rodeo. Were you competing that year?
No, I was not that year.
Is that in your goals? Is that your goal list?
Yeah, it is.
Someday.
Yeah, someday when I'm, get rid of you, throw you off the boat, and
I was just
take
about,
off.
No, I was just about to ask, would you include me in your, like, if you want to go round, would you include me in the...
Like on the stage at the, is it the Golden Nugget? The gold buckle ceremony
Yeah.
after. Would I include you on stage? Absolutely.
Would you, like, say, like, I couldn't
They'd
have
make
done
you
it-
do a speech and everything, so I'd
I
definitely
know,
hand
I
the
couldn't
mic
have
to
done
you.
this without my support and
I would
ex-boyfriend
hand the
Anthony.
mic to you.
Oh,
so you
I could
do
actually
the
do it?
speech for me.
Oh, I'm down. Yeah. So we're in Vegas, and my buddy is a DJ for Jason Aldean, and I was wearing a crushed velvet jacket at the time, and
Lord.
her friend...
I don't remember that jacket, by the way.
you don't remember much.
Okay.
Yeah, you were a little...
Okay, continue.
So anyways, and you were preoccupied. So I met her friend, and we hit it off quite well because I barely saw Kelly much because she was off gallivanting with somebody else.
Having fun.
And I end up trying to hook up with her friend, and here we are 9 years later. We meet because we live in a similar part of town, strictly because I sold most of my stuff and bought an RV.
It's been 11 years, actually.
Was it 11 years to now, but 9 years?
Oh, yeah.
Because we've been together for almost a year and 8 months now. Yeah. So, anyways, so we meet. I try to hook up with her girlfriend. Fortunately, it does not work out because of unforeseen circumstances. Yeah, she's praying to the sky. Yeah. If her and I would have hooked up, would you have been able to still date me?
What kind of question is that?
I mean, if you hooked up with one of my buddies, I'd be okay.
Yeah, and you're weird like that. Like, you wouldn't care at all. I don't know.
It was 10 years ago.
Yeah, I don't know.
If you're watching on YouTube, put in the comments whether or not you could get over if your
Be specific.
partner, if your new partner, Joe, stop laughing, if your partner has hooked up with, not even dated, like you could hooked up with one of your friends.
Best friend.
Best friend at the time.
Yeah.
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 But if and say at least 5 years have passed. I'll cut it in half. So 5 years. Could you end up dating that person? The answer for you is a hard no.
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
Well, we didn't hook up.
I could probably maybe get over it, but I would probably bring it up a lot, as you can imagine.
I can't imagine you bringing up the past ever. The interesting thing is I actually use this story a lot, and I'll make it as short as possible. So, a little bit of information for you. If you ever drink a little bit too much and you end up in somebody's hotel room in Vegas, take a picture of the door. And I'm a person that has to go to the bathroom every morning.
This is true.
Yeah, like clockwork. Yeah. So I had to do a number 2, and I was at the MGM Grand, and I made the mistake of not getting their contact information, going downstairs, thinking that I would remember the room number. And I think I was missing a sock, maybe even a shoe.
Wallet.
What?
Your wallet.
And the biggest thing was my wallet. And I ended up having to sit in the hallway for about an hour and a half thinking. I was like tapping on a couple doors. Finally, I was like, I can't continue to sit. And I knocked on one of them, and it was the correct one. You guys opened it up. So lesson learned, if you're ever in Vegas and end up in a strange person's room, make sure, what?
We don't recommend this.
Well, we don't recommend this to anybody. I mean, you do what you got to do. I'm just, hey, look where it got us. So flash forward 9 years later, I was doing some of the political shows with Cash, and you were liking some of the stuff, and I knew that you had been married. How long were you married for?
2 years.
2 years? Happiest 2 years of your life?
I'm happy when it was over. Yes. Yes. Very unhappy 2 years.
Okay, very unhappy 2 years. All right. So then we reconnect, and this is where I always like to talk about everything happens for a reason. And you bought a spa, right? Go ahead and take us through a little bit of what happened with that spa. And for the barrel racer friends of Kelly in that community, we'll get into barrel racing and my questions that I have regarding that. But for now,
tell my story of my bad purchase.
Yeah.
Well, I've been looking for a business to buy for a good year. Found one. Happened to be a spa, which I thought was cool. Was too good to be true. And I knew if it wasn't too good to be true, I wouldn't have bought it. So I ended up buying it, and it was, in fact, too good to be true. But like you say, everything happens for a reason. And if I hadn't have bought it, I probably wouldn't have met you. But Re-met you. Yeah. Which I don't know if that's entirely true or not, but you seem to think it is.
A lot of things had to happen for us to re-meet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which it happened to be 10 minutes from where you were staying.
Right. So I got a dog who was actually sick this week, and he's doing a lot better. I got a dog randomly one day on a Friday. I've never had a dog my whole entire life. I see this post. I end up getting Woodrow. I went and I picked him up. Didn't even know what to do. Walked into PetSmart with a dog in my arms like this.
38 years not owning a dog.
Which
is crazy.
Yeah, walk in and I go, what do I do? And he became my best friend. And part of that inspired me because my mom was living in she was helping my grandfather when he was really sick when he was older. She was living in a van by their thing, like one of those, what are those called? Class C van, Class B, whatever it is.
You're talking about the RV?
Yeah, her mini RV,
yeah,
her
yeah.
tiny RV. Yeah, so she was living in that, so she had to get it serviced. So I'm with Woody, and I tend to make irrational purchases real fast. And I decided to buy a gigantic RV, not knowing where I was going to stay in it, except for the fact I can live in it. I just got to figure out the rest. And me and Woody, I'm like, I got a dog now. I own a Jeep. I'm getting a Class A RV 40 foot. So I bought it kind of out of nowhere. And it turns out the one place that I talked to a buddy of mine, was actually with Aaron Throckmorton and Miles. Miles like, my wife and I and my kid were about to buy this new piece of land in Rome, Texas, which turns out was about 10, 15 minutes away from where her spa was in Saginaw. So we ended up being much closer than I thought. So, you know what I didn't bring? I didn't bring a picture of the fanny pack.
That was a big deal.
Yeah.
That was a seal the deal kind of moment.
Yeah, if I can add this to the YouTube, I'll slap it on there afterwards. But we'll tell the fanny
We
pack
had
story.
the same cat riding a unicorn with fire coming out of its nose, holding an AR
Yeah,
or something
holding an AR with
an American flag.
With an American flag.
Most random fanny pack you could find. We both had it.
Fate. Fate, 100%. So we started talking because she liked some of my posts. I think shared some of the political posts, and I was like, I don't have a ton of friends anymore that agree with my political stance. So let's
check this girl out.
So I saw a picture of you with a kid on your lap. Go.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Okay, so I go to my friend's Thanksgiving party that she has every year, and I'm kind of like talking about my luck with men, or whatever you want to call it. And of course I absolutely was not looking for a boyfriend at the time.
Because you kind of had one.
Anyways, sort of. I didn't, anyways. And they said, well, Kelly, you run off everyone by talking about how you don't want kids and all this stuff. And I'm like, whatever, like, they're crazy. So that night we took a picture with a kid on my lap, Tasha Welch's little precious baby girl. And I posted it on Facebook, and I was like, well, we'll just give it a shot and see if they're right or not. Sure enough, they were right, because you messaged me that night, and you haven't left me alone since.
My bad. So the fun fact of this is we have a vehement disagreement on whether or not I was hitting on her with my first...
You absolutely were.
I was not.
You better have been.
So... The reason why would I hit on a girl that lives 2.5 or 3? I thought you lived in the middle of nowhere, Texas. I didn't know that at the time we were closer to each other than we thought. I just saw it as a funny picture. The only communication we had ever had on Facebook was happy birthday, crazy lady, because I remember her Vegas version, which was
crazy.
Crazy.
Whatever.
Yeah, I think did you get kicked out of the bar in
Studio
54?
Maybe. It's been a long time.
Why'd you get kicked out of the bar?
Because I like to party. I don't know.
So we end up, we start talking, and my initial intention was, because I felt the same way until I had a daughter, and I just looked very awkward holding a child, and she looked mortified. That would have been another good picture to bring up. Maybe I'll flash it in here. I don't know. Yeah, so she looked absolutely mortified, and I felt for her, and I started messaging her, but it took about 3 messages for me to realize, oh, shit, maybe there's something here.
Maybe well, did you know I was married at that point?
No, I didn't know.
I wasn't married.
I knew you were. Yeah, because I went on Facebook. I saw that you were no longer married, but I do remember because you looked beautiful in your wedding dress, and I remember I was like, oh,
I'll wear it for you too.
Crazy. I'm gonna go ahead and grab a drink on that one.
Hopefully, it still fits.
So when we started dating, though, you didn't want to get married.
I still don't. I mean, I don't care.
Every 3 days.
Little did you know this is going to be couples therapy.
Every 3 days, you ask me, when are we get every 3?
I'm just flirting. I'm just asking, like, I want to know your answer. I wonder if you have a different answer today or whatever. Like, you know, I don't really care.
What do I tell you?
You say I have to be nice for a week straight, and I say every time that's not going to happen.
Why is that not going to happen?
Because I'm feisty, because you aren't perfect, and sometimes you have to be told that you're not perfect.
Whoa. What do you mean I'm not perfect?
Like, you're on your phone, and you're driving, and you're almost wrecking us, and I'm going to say something, And you think that's mean.
This could be used in a court of law if something happens. So nope, I'm never on my phone when we're driving.
Ask your mother. She'll agree with me.
Your mother.
My mom would probably agree with us too.
She probably would too, and let's be honest, you also are on your phone. Anyways, where are we at? Yeah, let's go ahead and go to our first break real quick. Let's see. First off, I want to give a shout out to Jonathan Nelson. Thank you. He's got an agency. They've blown up. He had a lot of struggles at the beginning of COVID. Before that, he's gotten a lot of bad flack for stuff in the past, and I've always stayed in contact with him just here and there, and he reached out. We met up. And he's helping out the show. So thank you to him and his agency, his new agency, www.auctusagency.com. They've blown up. They just did a big event with Zoa, The Rock. If you are in need of experiential marketing whatsoever, make sure you check him out. And again, thank you for the help. And thanks for actually talking and being a friend and kind of being supportive of each other. Appreciate that. And of course, bluntforce.mymonate.com. I want to talk about this. These are the people that have truly, truly helped out the show since we got started. I've started actually researching the products and how great they actually are for people and what they and what they actually do. And they're also supporting. But they actually have 80 million different kinds of shampoo, and by that I mean 5 or 6. And it's different for different kinds of hair. So like you said, you have thick hair, Kelly. They've got a wide range. I started watching the videos, and it's crazy what they've done. And all of their products, super healthy. And as we talk about making sure that we're not using things that are going to be carcinogens or weird and bad for the body. So they say no to toxic ingredients, are cruelty-free, vegan, and it does not contain a lot of the chemicals that go into a lot of the products in this world. So you've got stuff for your skin, got stuff for your hair. And if you are interested in buying the product or possibly selling it as a side business, they do $2.3 billion of revenue per year on their stuff. So make sure you check it out if you want to get involved. Either way, bluntforce.mymonate.com. That's MYMONAT.com. And we'll be right back. Do you want to use some of the dry shampoo?
Maybe later.
Right now?
Yeah, when I get greasy.
You're looking a little frizzy.
It's for when you get greasy.
I know, I'm kidding.
Okay.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah. Thank you for calling my hair frizzy though.
You look beautiful. Okay. So then let's get into so we had a bunch of crazy stuff happen right when we started dating. Yep. We had the accident.
Yes.
I got my Jeep totaled by a motorcycle driver the day before I was supposed to go to Omaha.
Somehow that guy
Survived.
walked away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mild concussion. And then we decided to go on our first vacation.
So many red flags.
So many red flags, not just the red shirt, but so many red flags. Go ahead and explain our first vacation together.
Our first vacation. Well, you said you were going to go with Cash to the Capitol, and I was like, road trip. I want to go. And I had no idea that we were going to be, I don't know.
Still dating after a month?
Yeah. Our first vacation was January 6th, the riot.
Boom.
Yeah.
It was
romantic.
a riot.
It really was a lot of fun.
Yeah. And that and it's weird that kind of brought us kind of it brought us together because it was kind of weird what you had to deal with at the spa. Obviously, I got a lot of flack. Yeah. This is the end of a lot of my relationships with my friends where they're like, you are an insurrectionist and a terrorist, so we can no longer even talk to you, which was pretty shitty. But in your case,
I didn't lose any friends. I just lost. Well, people found me on Facebook and then went and saw I owned a spa. Then would go to the spa page and just literally write the most hateful things in the reviews that the spa is owned by a terrorist, don't support her. So I had to disable reviews and all that fun stuff.
So we posted a picture on the lawn at the Capitol, which we were in an area that there was tens of thousands of people. And it was cool. We just said it was, and honestly, our experience that day, one of the more patriotic, fun days that we could possibly explain. It was, as Kelly put in the post, which I think got her in a little bit of trouble, it was a
riot.
Yeah. So we posted this, and honestly, until we got back to we would have never known what was going to come of that day because we didn't see any of the really, really bad stuff. We saw some bad, but we
literally left because we were bored. There was nothing else going on. We walked away, walked to our hotel because nothing else was going on. So I was like, been there, done that. So we left.
Yeah. And again, it still boggles my mind that even today, almost a year and a half later, we're still watching these January 6th proceedings on primetime TV. Like last week, they still had one of the last shows, like trying to show people how horrific it was. And it's such a sham of what's happening and ridiculous. But it brought us together. And we had a bunch of things happen the first, couple weeks.
Yeah, lots of red flags saying, don't do this, don't do this. And yet we still did it.
And I wrote vows to you.
Within what, the first week?
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
I think it was right after, like week and a half.
I'm going to find them. I'm going to go through your computer.
You can't find them. I have them locked in here. You're not gonna be able to find it. I knew something was different, and I remember telling my friends, and they're like, "Yeah, we've heard this before." And then,
Jesus.
but this is my longest.
Huh?
This is my longest relationship, and I remember saying, like, this one's different because you are a incredibly unique, different individual. I mean, some of it's the sassy side, which, oh shit.
Yeah.
And then there was also, I remember right when we went on our first date, you were like divulging all of your information to me in one fell swoop. Marriage, all the different stuff.
Well, because I'm like, if I'm going to date this guy, I might as well just tell him everything right off the bat. If he stays, he stays. If not, then bye.
Did you think that we were going to date right when we had our first date?
That's a tough one. I don't want to, yeah, I mean, I just didn't know how long it would last. I thought we would date, but I didn't think it would last very long because of a few different things. But I did have fun.
What was the few different things?
Well, I don't want to, like, offend you on your show.
Baby, you offend me every minute of every day.
Well, no.
Come on, bring it.
Do you want me to tell you?
Let's take a drink, yeah. You could say it. I've got even...
I don't need to drink to know or tell you.
Go ahead, because I've even got questions that probably relate to... I think I know where you're
going. The most country thing about you was that you had a Jeep and a dog, which is not country at all. Which, not that I, love country, but, you gotta have a little bit of that to be able to run with me, to be able to do what I do. And, I mean, obviously, you were a little heavier. You had a little, whatever going on, and I'm not shallow, but, you gotta have standards.
So was I too chubby for you at the time?
Yeah, I'm balding, chubby, super city, kind of gay acting, which I love the gays, but I don't want to date one.
In barrel racing, it's a lot of gay guys.
Yeah.
People don't realize that.
Yeah.
But you didn't. You thought
prefer to date a straight guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
You thought I'd put that on your dating app. Prefer to date a straight guy.
Looking for straight, aka manly.
And you don't think I'm manly?
We have come a long way. Certainly. A long way.
Okay, so capital, and let's really quick go to the right around the second time we were talking, on the it was on the phone, I believe. We were texting. I remember because I was in the kitchen, and that was when we talked about our love and affinity for fanny packs, and that was when you started sending me photos of you in fanny packs. Like, I love fanny packs. And there was that photo with the cat on the unicorn with the flames, the AR,
which
the AK.
Should have been another red flag. This man has the same fanny pack as you. Run away.
Sign from God, more like it.
Red flag from God.
Okay. So we at that moment, I remember having my phone like this and texting. Saw that picture come through, and I'm like, I have that fanny pack. This is the one. I thought it was at that moment. I thought it was a sign.
No, you wrote me, you were like, stop. And I'm like, what? And you're like, I have it. I'm like, no, you don't.
Why do I feel like I picture you picturing me say stop at home? Like, I was like this. I'm like, stop it. And you picture me probably like,
I know what you're about to say right now. And you're, yes,
stop.
100%. Like, stop. Like, that's how I picture you.
Yeah.
Looking at it.
It's somewhere. I'm sure it's somewhere.
I'm sure.
Let's see. So let's get into rodeo a little bit. First off, you grew up doing barrel racing. Mm-hmm. If you can do me a favor, can we flash a picture of you as a kid? There's Kelly. She's the big one. That's her sister on the side of her. And the getup is something special. So is that what you would wear to rodeo as a kid?
Dressed to the nines. Absolutely. Yeah. We it was basically like a who could wear the most sparkles and fringe contest when you're a child. And you had the Rockies, the high-waisted Rockies with no pockets. They'd come up really high, and yeah.
Did you win that belt buckle?
Oh, yeah. You don't buy belt buckles, Anthony. you win them.
Would it be girly for me to
Yes.
wear one of your belt buckles?
Like a barrel racing one?
Well, how am I if I can never wear a belt buckle then? I'm never
I
going
just
to win
don't think
one.
you would look right in one, to be completely honest. It's kind of like you in a cowboy hat, like kind of cool, but like you can tell it's not like authentic.
What if I got a really good cowboy hat?
We can try, but you won't spend the money on a really good one, so we're have to stick with what you got.
Drink on that one. Cowboy hats are expensive. For those that are city people watching this, like the felt hats, you're talking $500, $600.
For a good one.
You're not messing around.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do we do shot seat yet? No, let's keep going about barrel racing. So explain being a kid barrel racer.
Well, a kid barrel racer.
Like, because you spend, I mean, what parents do, it's pretty insane how much they put into their kids that are barrel racing. So what does it take to be a barrel? I mean, you were very competitive too.
Yeah, so I mean, I was riding a horse by the time I was 3. Probably entered up in the little kid stuff when I was 3. From, mom and dad just throwing me on a horse, which I was always on good horses, so I kind of learned, which you may not fully understand this, but I learned like a good feel for a horse, like what they're supposed to feel like, and as you become a trainer, you can kind of put 2 and 2 together, but you just learn what it's supposed to feel like, so it helps you be competitive later on. But I mean, we had the trucks, trailers, all the horses. We'd go and I'd get cranky once it got late. They'd carry me to the truck, and then they'd carry me in the house when we got home. And
what's changed?
Nothing, and that's why I knew you'd like that, because if it's past 9:30, I'm done. So
that's why we can't make it to a week of you being nice.
Yeah.
Because I'm a late night person.
Yeah.
So you were very competitive growing up. I remember one of the other things when we started dating is when I told somebody that I was meeting you someplace that was in kind of the horse world. Mm-hmm. She's like, the Kelly Allen, and you hate it because I still say the Kelly Allen, but
I hate it when you do.
I mean, you were a pretty big. You are. Did I just say were? You are a pretty big deal. I always know.
You are a has-been.
No, I always
know.
know.
How does it feel to be the backup, and a has-been?
I always know when we go someplace and it's more of a bigger competition and the announcer knows who you are. Like, they always know. They're like, Kelly Allen travels all over the country. Like, they know that you're a big deal. You just haven't broken through to the NFR yet, and you still have time. I think you think, like, time's running out.
I feel like I'm getting too old.
But what's the woman's name that's it's always in the NFR? She just came back from, like, a knee surgery.
Donna Kay.
Donna Kay is a badass.
She is a badass.
And she's, like, 60-something.
She is, yeah. Yeah, she is a badass. I would like to not have to chase the road when I'm 60-something, though.
But
I
think you love it. So that's gonna ask my next question, because right now Mega Millions $1 billion. Mm-hmm. If we won $1 billion tomorrow,
because you're buying the ticket, because I don't buy those tickets. You always do. So if we won $1 billion,
just like when you won $5,500 at the casino and you paid for part of gas on the way home. Exactly, we'll share it just like that. So. Anyways,
didn't know you were holding that in.
What? $1 billion.
Okay.
Do you go back into your horses?
Absolutely.
Do you love it that much?
100%. Well, yeah, but it's not like I've told you before, it's not like a job. I mean, I try not to look at it as a job because I know that horses financially are not intelligent. Like, they're not going to pay for anything. So, like, at least if I had the $1 billion, I could do all that and enjoy it and not have to worry about them making money.
So what would be the first change you would make?
The first thing I would do, I'm so boring, I would pay off everything that has interest.
Nothing more responsible than somebody that just won $1 billion, $700 million after taxes.
I'm just saying, I'd pay off my business, and then I would pay off the business loan, and then I would buy a really nice place with a lot of land.
Okay.
And a good kitchen for you to cook for me.
Love it. Yeah.
So as long as I had a large kitchen, a lot of land, good sandy ground, yeah. And I'd buy a bunch of businesses. I'd buy all the liquor stores, laundromats, and there was something else I would buy.
Real estate
or apartments. I'd buy all that I could.
Yeah.
And then I'd be.
Would you spend about $200,000 on suing the shit out of Heather too?
I'd do whatever it took.
Yeah. The Heather is the previous business owner. Mm-hmm. So if you're about to buy a business and the person's name is Heather, just double check.
What would you do if you won $1 billion?
If I did $1 billion,
Yeah.
I'd buy baby whatever house she wants and all the land. No, I would. I'd buy a new house to try to move in someplace where it suited both of our business needs. And no offense to Joe. Actually, you know what, Joe? I like you. I would hire you to come to my home studio and manage that. I'll see what you get paid and I'll try to up it by at least $13, maybe $14. So I would make sure that I have my own studio, faster internet,
Large kitchen.
love to cook,
Pantry.
and then plenty of land for you and the horses, and the ability to have somebody that does the harder, more menial stuff with the horses.
And a house cleaner to clean up your messes because you are
I'm
very messy.
I'm going to respectfully disagree. I'm messy when I cook. You
That's what
are
I'm talking
the
about.
queen of leaving plates sitting out. Like we bought Bloody Mary mix because we like the taste of Bloody Marys. So we bought Bloody Mary mix, and she had a cup that had the Bloody Mary mix, the remnants of it, for 3 days sitting out. And that is the microcosm of the tornado that is Kelly Allen. And then you
allowed shrimp to fall below the burners on the stove.
Well, it got heated and cooked, so at least it's not raw.
And the whole
fish.
kitchen smelled like
It did
fish
not smell
and
like
shrimp.
fish or shrimp.
Yeah, it did.
You are lying.
I cleaned it up. You're messy. I would definitely have to hire a house cleaner to clean the kitchen and do all those things.
How can we so, ladies and gentlemen, this is called compromising. Can we just hire a house cleaner to clean up after both of us?
That's fine.
Because
100%
both
on
of
board
us
that-
are
with
not
that.
great at messes.
Okay. Yep. I would like to show the picture of you making the bed the other day.
I'm not great at I already
You
but
made the bed. You already made it.
My weakness is making beds.
Oh, gosh.
And cleaning up while I'm cooking because
My weakness is being your girlfriend, so that should be an excuse for everything. Like, come on. It's not hard to make a bed.
I'm not a good bed maker.
We're going to go home and work on it.
Do you know how much time it takes to just pick up the plate after you use it?
Do you know how long it takes to make a bed?
For me, a long time. You are much quicker. You are talented. That's called a
I'm not an idiot.
passive-aggressive compliment.
I'm not an idiot.
It's just not my strong suit.
Okay.
Try to be 6'2".
Oh
and
my
have to bend
God.
over.
Oh my God. What?
Oh, man. Okay, so back into barrel racing, and then we'll take a quick break. So it's a weird world, and people think that, and barrel racing, actually, Joe, can we play the video of what barrel racing looks like? So this is Kelly running at the Mesquite Rodeo. So for people that don't know, like, there's 7 different activities in a rodeo.
Yeah, events.
And there's, And then they do these things called jackpots, which I thought was it's like bowling league for horse racers. If you don't know, they go to a random piece of property, random piece of land, at like on Monday night, everybody pays $50 or $45, and they time these barrel races, and it's like it's crazy. But this is an actual rodeo, it's a Mesquite rodeo. Go ahead and play the clip of Kelly on Cinco. So that was your first place in a pro rodeo this year.
Yeah.
It was like 4th, 5th?
It was my first pro rodeo check in a very long time.
Yeah,
and
since
it was
before
at
we started.
Mesquite.
Which you've heated up since then, and you're about to go on the rodeo
You
road.
damn right I have.
Yeah, and that's why you're going rodeoing the next couple months.
Well, I'm going rodeoing to get out of Texas heat.
Smart, because it is. I mean, I'm melted in the walk over here. It's pretty bad. By the way, I just realized something. I think you're wearing the same jacket. No, you were wearing a jean jacket on our first date. Mm-hmm. Yeah, never mind.
We went to the Mule Barn.
The Mule Barn. Yeah. Anyways, so that's what barrel racing is, and honestly, it is ridiculously exciting, and people don't understand when they go watch it. Because I never heard of barrel racing. I knew
bronc
riding and I knew bull riding.
You really had never heard of it before we started
Never
dating?
heard of barrel
Really?
racing.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I've seen like girls go around and shoot the things on barrels. I remember
Mounted
that.
shooting, yeah.
What is it called?
Mounted shooting.
Yeah, at like Tulsa State Fair.
Yeah,
like
it's
that
impressive.
It's pretty impressive. But honestly, I had no idea, and I want to make a movie. I think there's a whole thing like of this industry that could be made in a movie specifically about barrel racing, a love story.
Sure, Teton Ridge is working on it.
I'm sure they are. But barrel racing, like, there's a lot of romance behind it because you girls are known. There's even a song.
I wouldn't call that romance.
Well, you feel like
Barrel Racer Land is the song you're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, how does it paint a picture of barrel racers?
It's pretty accurate. Not for me, of course, but for a lot of the barrel racers, it's pretty accurate.
And what does it paint?
We like to have fun. What does it paint? Is that what you said?
Yeah, what kind of picture?
Just, we're free spirits. We are gypsies, do what we want, travel around.
To different trailers?
I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, we just have fun.
Anyways.
You're dating one, so.
Yeah, and I don't judge people's past, to be very clear. So that's she's gonna be going rodeoing for the next month and a half. I realized how cool of a sport it was very soon into it. It's anywhere from 14 to 17 seconds, best of the best, and now I actually have announced a couple of them. How'd I do?
You actually did very well. Yeah, I was impressed.
Yeah. Became a PA announcer for rodeos.
Yeah, you were actually.
Or not rodeos, sorry.
But what got me, what hooked me on you was the first weekend that we were talking is you, without any hesitation, without any bitching or moaning, you screen recorded all my runs and sent them to me. And I was like, this, my friends, is why you don't date a rodeo guy, because they won't do that. They'll bitch and moan about it. You didn't. You're like, here's your run. Good job, even if I didn't do good.
So they have like 3, 2, 1 action video and all these different things that play all the different rodeos, and they're always looking for somebody to watch their runs. And I've come to the conclusion after it's so that they can tweak little things, and because they are just obsessed at watching themselves do things.
Whatever.
So I recorded it for her a couple times, and you can watch most of them on either Cowboy channel or the 3, 2, 1 action video. And I thought I was just being nice, but it turns out that little act, and here's another lesson for those relationships out there, that little act of gratitude, was it gratitude? What would you call it?
On my part?
On my part.
No,
Now,
that's
gratitude
not
wouldn't be right. Yeah, she had gratitude. She just didn't tell me.
Generosity?
Generosity, selflessness.
Mm-hmm. My gratitude.
Your gratitude.
For you doing it.
Yeah, because you were very thankful for it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've thanked me much since then, though.
Well, whatever.
All right, we're going to come back with Shot Seat. We'll be right back. Kelly thought that said shit. Do you need any more? I thought it's a good bumper.
I'm fine.
You're good right now?
It's great.
One of the best things about Kelly, by the way, is she is one drink and done.
It's one of the best things about me.
Yeah, a cheap date.
Huh?
So you're a cheap date.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the way Shots Eat works, and this one is going to be sponsored by Artist Labs. So Artist Labs, guys, if you remember Dr. Artist on the show, he has got a bunch of really great products. And if you're into some of the holistic and alternative stuff, this is going to be a little lesson for you guys. So this is the Don't Get the Shot Seat. There's some stuff in here that this is a helping learning lesson. So if you have had a shot that you don't like and you are symptomatic, go to an infusion center and get glutathione and vitamin C infusions, highest allowed for a couple months. Asymptomatic, if you don't have any lasting effects, try out NAC, 500 milligrams of that, selenium, apple pectin powder, vitamin C, and helping the liver to produce glutathione. Now, how does that help? So if you go to thedrartistshow.com, get 10% off by using our code at checkout of BFD. You can buy things like that. Some of the things I just mentioned: selenium, zinc, vitamin C, all these things. If you have questions on what to take, if you're having some weird stuff, even long COVID, I've talked at length with Dr. Artist on how to help that out. Just email me at bluntforcediscussion.com. I'll answer any questions you have because I think it's important. While we have a smaller following that's growing, but I hope it's important to get through this stuff and whatever's going on with COVID. With that said, Shot Seat is where I try to make the person uncomfortable, okay?
Oh, God. If I don't want to answer, I'm just not going to answer.
One thing you would change about me.
Seriously? Mm-hmm. I only get one?
One thing.
Okay. Okay, in all seriousness, I'm going to make it something that you can control, so maybe you'll actually do it. I would change that you, the amount of time you're on your phone.
Okay.
And your computer.
Okay. Clearly don't understand my profession, but it's okay. That's totally fine. Next question, and this is from the fans out there. Mm-hmm. How do you put up with me?
You cook for me. You video me, and you clean stalls.
Video you doing what?
Running barrels.
Oh, whew. Your parents are watching, Kelly.
Okay, we're not doing that.
Right.
But mostly because you cook for me.
Am I the best cook you've ever dated?
Oh, 100%.
Which leads me to my next question. Am I the hottest guy you've ever dated?
Yes. Why are you asking me these questions?
You could be honest. Am I the best looking guy you've ever dated? Mm-hmm. You can answer. I can tell you're lying.
I love you.
We all know where I rank. Do I rank in the top 3?
Oh my God, yes.
Watch.
Can I make a disclaimer?
Go ahead.
With your clothes on. Yes.
Okay. If you could only choose one thing, in a man, hot or rich?
Ooh. I don't know. If he's not hot, is he ugly? Ugly? And if he's not rich, is he like homeless?
The hot is like 6-pack, everything you want in a man physically. I'll even give him intelligent, but just broke. Like you guys have to split every meal at best. Sometimes you have to support him. Rich, skeezy, oily, nasty, 25, 30 years older than you.
I'm going to say hot.
Worth over $1 billion.
I don't know.
Oof.
I don't know. I don't know. What about you?
Me?
Yeah.
I choose you.
I get that.
No, just you. It's a
Okay.
smart way to answer that question.
Okay.
That's how you should have answered it.
All
Yep.
right. Why pick when you can have both?
Okay. Let's see. Is barrel racing a profession or a hobby?
Both. For a lot of people, it is a profession. Like the trainers that's all they do is they have 30 horses in training. It's a pretty good profession. But for me, it's probably a hobby.
Okay.
I don't have that many client horses.
Okay. Back to the one or the other. If you end up staying a barrel racer, you have to choose. No more horses the rest of your life and rich, or being with horses the rest of your life and you will never be able to go more than paycheck to paycheck.
Why are you asking me these things?
That's why it's the hot seat.
They don't make me uncomfortable. They're just difficult. So rich and not have horses, or have horses and be broke, essentially, my whole life.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I am right now. So it's just,
But it would be for the rest of your life. Do you love horses that
I
much?
kind of have just come to terms that this is going to be the rest of my life. So we'll go with that.
Last question on...
You're like, shit. I was hoping you'd say the other.
There we go. Looks like I better start earning better. Again, patreon.com/blunt force discussion if you want to help out the show, or if you want to, possibly sponsor, get a little help.
This is called the Anthony Doesn't Want to Be Single Anymore Fund.
Or do I?
Or Single Again Fund.
Use your words, Kel.
Yeah.
Okay. Last question on Shot Seat. What is the sexiest thing about me?
Jesus Christ.
That's not my name.
The sexiest thing about you.
Yeah. It's only an
There's so
hour
many. I'm really trying to narrow it down to just one.
show. Yeah.
Your sense of humor. Yeah.
And that is Don't Get the Shot Seat from Artist Labs. Yes, I wanted you to say my mustache, because that is clearly the sexiest thing about me. And again, that was drartistshow.com. All the products are below it. BFD is the code you use. They've got also acne treatment. If you've got kids or if you've got acne issues, he has done the research on finding a way to get rid of that. Anyways, and thank you again for your help with the show. Let's go back to barrel racing a little bit. Do you guys, everybody thinks you guys are cowboys or cowgirls. I started this earlier. Like roughing it.
Yeah.
Are rodeo, should I say rodeo or barrel racer specific? Are you really cowboys and cowgirls?
Well, I would say for the most part, no. Like I say at a rodeo, a pro rodeo, 90% of the people that are there are not ranchy cowboys and cowgirls. They're more or less just kind of roughing it in their $200,000 horse trailer on their $100,000 horse, putting on a show, basically, is what it is for the rodeos. So I would say, yeah, most of them are us. Most of us are not really country in that regard, like rednecks, country, like you see.
Are you calling people in your industry posers?
No, not posers. We're just
A little bit prissier than what people get.
yeah, prissier is a good term.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and there are some like that are not that, but I'd say for the most part, it's all just a show. It's all just something to talk about and make us all look like we're real rough and tough, and we're actually not.
What are your pet peeves about barrel racers?
Ooh. About barrel racers. You can't really,
Oh, say it.
I
I
don't
know. Well, we've sit in the car afterwards, and you have
well, I know, but a pet peeve about barrel racers in general.
or trainers.
I don't really have pet peeves. I'd say, the drama,
Yeah.
the talking behind people's back and then being their best friend, and which I guess that's every industry. It really is across the board, but it sucks because barrel racers are so much he said, she said, and this horse drama and that horse drama, and not giving people credit when it's due.
What does
things
that
like
mean?
Like if someone trained a horse, or someone seasoned a horse, or someone fixed a horse, or it could be anything, a trainer, a veterinarian that, needs to get credit for fixing a hurt horse, or a trainer that trained one, and then someone takes it and they win a bunch on it and they talk shit about the trainer, or they say that they did it all themselves, things like that. That's kind of a pet peeve, which I think that's every barrel racer that's that's been in the industry long enough. That would be probably any of their pet peeves, because a lot of them, this is our livelihood, and so talking good about someone, or referrals, basically it helps their business in the long term. So I'd say that's probably a pet peeve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So would you consider yourself a better barrel racer or barrel horse trainer?
Ooh, that flip-flops. A lot of times I'd say trainer, because I feel like I can train them pretty well, and then I can't get out of trainer mode to actually go compete on them and win.
Yeah.
So,
What
but I'm trying to get better. That's kind of why I'm going to rodeos, because it gets me out of that mode, and I kind of get some fire, and I start actually trying to win.
So the NFR is the I remember how you described it to me. You said I said, are you a professional barrel racer? And
You're like, why aren't you at the NFR?
Yeah, why aren't you the NFR? So how would you describe the difference between the NFR and barrel racing?
I guess you're looking for what I told you, right?
Do you remember?
I think I do. So the NFL is the Super Bowl. Is that what I said?
Yeah.
Of
The NFR
rodeo.
is the Super Bowl.
Yeah, of rodeo.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all your rodeos, all year long is your regular season.
Yeah.
And then it's hard to get to the Super Bowl, right?
Right.
It's really hard. It's not just an easy thing. That's how the NFR is. It's hard to get there.
Yeah. Top of the top.
So you can be really good and still not make it, just like you can be really good at football and not make it to the Super Bowl.
But you're good enough to be considered. You'd be in the league. You'd be in the NFL.
Me?
Yeah.
Depends on the horse I have. I'd like to say so, but
Right now you got a couple.
yeah, I got one. Yeah.
So who do you think this year? You've seen with we're midway through the season, a little bit past midway through the season. Obviously, Jordan Briggs doing really well, as always. Last couple years, Cassie. So who do you think is going to be the number one going into the NFR, and who do you think will win it?
Going into it, definitely Jordan, because she has more money won now than I think. I don't know. I'd have to look at the stats. I don't know exactly, but I know she has a lot more won this year than a lot of people have in the past at this point. So definitely her. And then I still think she'll probably, because obviously her horse likes the Thomas and Macarena because he did so well there last year. So she already has this big of a lead, and we already know that he does well there. As long as he stays sound, then I've kind of got her.
How does that horse? So if for those of you who don't know how barrel racing works, once you hit a barrel, you get +5. It usually means it's a no time, and it happens quite a bit. But her horse, why am I thinking sister? That's Haley's horse. What's
Rolo?
Rolo.
Yeah.
That horse does not hit a barrel.
Very rarely. I think she hit 2 this year, but before that, she went the whole season without hitting a single barrel, which is crazy.
How does a horse? Have you ever seen a horse like that is that fast,
Ooh.
that competitive, that just will not hit a barrel?
Not really. I know, in the past there was quite a few, but it's it's almost like the more recent the barrel racing has become, like the more fine-tuned it's been, and the faster the times, it seems like people hit more barrels, I guess, because you're just shaving off time. But like, it's something to do with his style. He's got a pretty round style, and he's just very consistent and places his feet just right, so he just doesn't hit barrels. And they're just very in tune, her and him. So.
And Cassie Mowry did really well in Calgary, so she's up there. And then Haley is there every year. Yeah. With sister, but she won 3 years in a row.
She's either been the reserve or the champion the last 3 or 4 years.
Up until last year when Jordan won.
Right, she was reserve last year.
Oh, so reserve means second place. Yeah. Yeah. God, it's still learning about this whole thing. The lingo. Year and 7 months later. So Haley's got the horse sister. You've got Rolo. You've got Cassie. You've got a lot of really good racers. Do you think right now Haley is no longer the number one, sister being the number one horse? You think Jordan is with Rolo?
They're both really good. I mean, I think if you put, them side by side and make them run 5 runs in a row, I think they'd be really close to each other. I think Haley might maybe clip a barrel, but sister's been kind of off. She's had a bone bruise in her foot, so she's just not coming back, I think.
She will soon, though.
Yeah.
We talked about pet peeves with other trainers and riders. What are your pet peeves about the just industry as a whole? Maybe race coordinator, stuff that needs to change?
Ground, which sounds kind of crazy for people that don't know anything about barrel racing. You're like, oh, it's dirt, it's ground, it's all the same, which it's not. These horses are very expensive. Some $1, $2, $3, $400,000 that people pay. So they're worth a lot of money, and not to mention we're on their backs. So like if they're in danger, we're in danger. But it's a lot more fun for the fans whenever the ground is safe and people are setting arena records and they're running really fast. So like, I think, and it's kind of starting to change, the tide's turning a little bit where committees are actually working on that. So like, that's my pet peeve. And if you work hard at it and you can't get it, that's one thing. But when they just don't care, that's definitely a pet peeve.
What makes people probably don't, if they're like $250,000, $300,000 a horse. What makes a barrel race more than a Ferrari?
A barrel race?
A barrel horse.
More than a Ferrari?
Yeah. What makes a horse?
What's more than a Ferrari?
250. Like
price
anything in that $200,000,
$300,000
mark. What makes a horse that expensive?
The breeding, for one, especially if they're a mare, because they can produce babies, which are an investment, an asset, I guess, in the long run. So that, coupled with having one that's already got a record, won $100,000, they're obviously proven they can win. And if they're sound, if they don't require a lot of vet work, and if they're like easy to run, like maybe not you could get on one and win, but someone else could get on the horse and win.
But it's funny you say that, like if it's won $100,000, and I always find this funny because it takes $100,000 in entry fees and costs to do it.
It's a rich man's game.
That was what I was going for.
Yeah. So you could buy a $200,000 horse, and there is a small chance you could win $200,000 back. I'd say 80-90% of the time you're not going to. It's more of like the prestige, the glory of like buying that horse and maybe winning some on it. It's just not super realistic.
Yeah.
It's not very, it's rare.
It's more common for money to be in training.
Right. Yeah. You mean like making money?
Right.
Yeah. It's just a hard way to make a living. It's just physically exhausting.
Joe, how much time we got on the 58 if we're kind of keeping track of that? 1 minute. All right, so real quick, guys, we're going to come back. I'm going to ask you a couple more questions. We got about 15 minutes left in the show. If you're on Webeam, thanks for joining us. And they sometimes let it run a little longer. But remember, American farmers recently warned about coming food shortages. They're not going to be able to grow enough food this year because off the charts fertilizer shortage. That means you need to stockpile emergency food if you don't have some. Get the recommended minimum of 3 months worth per person in your family. Right now, you can save $150 off a 3-month food kit from My Patriot Supply. They're the nation's largest preparedness company offering Ready Hour brands because they're the very, very best. Go to preparewithbtc.com. Get $150 off. Again, that's preparewithbtc.com. Get $150 off. Also, awakenotwokestore.com for things like Make Patriotism Cool Again. Our hat's Awake Not Woke, and it's Awake for 15% off on that. Last but not least, please support this show, and that is patreon.com/Blunt Force Discussion. We'll be right back with a little bit of bonus. Thanks for joining, Webeam. How you doing, babe?
Fantastic.
You doing fantastic? Mm-hmm. Did we lose Kel? I was like black screen, and no, you have not been tanning that much.
No, I need to quit.
Yeah, black screens matter though. Mm-hmm. So we talk about
not the sense of humor I'm talking about.
That's you don't like that sense of humor.
No. It's more like your lighthearted nature.
You don't like my dad jokes?
No, I don't really like your jokes, to be completely honest. So I think some are really stupid, but I think you're funny, like when you're being like lighthearted and like just.
What's your most questionable decision in the past year and a half besides me?
In the past year and a half?
Specifically, since you started dating me, what's your most questionable decision? Shout out to Ian Altman who came up with this question.
I thought that was my whole life. The question was for my whole life. Questionable decision.
Is that what you want?
Well, a year and a half.
I'll broaden it for you. What is your most questionable decision of your whole entire life?
Getting married.
Oh, interesting.
That one ready. Getting married.
You're like, please extend the deadline from a year and a half.
Yeah.
Why was that a questionable decision?
It wasn't even questionable. It just was not.
Take us through that.
Getting married.
Yeah, because it was you married your rebound.
Okay.
No offense, Jesse, if you're watching.
Okay. Anyways, yes, I did. Well, we got engaged 6 months after dating, which, by the way, we've been dating a year and 8 months. Just to be clear, we dated 6 months and then got engaged, and then we were married 6 months later, and it was just like, I always say the mistake was not the divorce. The mistake was actually getting married. Just shouldn't have got married. So I don't.
Do you remember your wedding?
Vaguely. I had a little bit to drink. It was fun. The pictures look fantastic.
Did you if you could no regrets, but did you know that it wasn't going to work the day you got married?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Did you almost not get married?
I was too scared to not. So I would have done it.
If you could help somebody out there, one person. Like you guys fought a little bit like the day before or whatever it was, I think you told me.
Yeah.
Like well, you know, I'm a firm believer everything leads us to here, so I don't really have a problem. Would you suggest doing things the exact same way, or would you change it?
Well, I would have. I mean, I get that it's led us to this point, but I honestly feel like I could have had my time spent a lot better not being married and doing other things. You know?
Yeah.
Like whatever it might be, career-wise or horse-wise or just being single, not spending money on a wedding.
Yeah, because now, if we get married, when we get married, we're going to do a destination wedding. I used to think destination weddings were super, I thought they were just...
Cheesy?
Not cheesy. I thought they were what's the word I'm looking for? They were not thinking of people in their lives.
Inconsiderate.
Inconsiderate. Mm-hmm.
No.
That's how
Baby needs help on his podcast. With words.
Inconsiderate. And then now I've realized, like, I've lived all over the country. I've got friends all over the country, and I want something smaller. Yes, I do have friends.
Okay.
Yeah. I do.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm like, let's go have a good time. And if people can come, people can come. I think I used to be so worried about having the 300 people, 400 people, and now we know, obviously, your parents have already paid for a wedding. Then they made that mistake with...
Yeah.
Were your parents okay with you getting a divorce?
Well, my mom just kept saying, well, I don't know why anybody would want to be with someone that doesn't want to be with them. That's pretty much all I got out of her, and my dad was a little more on the skeptical side. Like, are you sure? Why? So, you know, but I knew I had to do it. So, Mima was not happy about it. I remember that pretty clearly. She thought I was making a bad mistake, but I think it all worked out.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't make a joke or say the thing you would change about me the most is my graphic tees. The fact that I only wear graphic tees that are awake now.
Well, why do you think I dress like somewhat decent? Is so I can balance out this graphic tee wardrobe you wear every single day.
Oh, honey, they have never seen you at home.
That's true, but when I go out in public, like the city, when I go out in the city...
I support the brand.
I get it.
Daddy's trying to bring home some money.
Daddy needs to start bringing home the money.
AwakeNotWokeStore.com. Awake for 15% off. A whole lot of stuff, and our favorite is the Unvaccinated Lives Matter shirt. Anyways.
It's your favorite, too, because you wear it at least 4 times a week. One of us has
Do you
to keep it
see what I
classy.
deal with?
One of us has to keep it classy.
True, and you do in sweatpants and yoga pants. All right, so question for you, because it's not all sunshine and rainbows being in rodeos, and obviously growing up, you dealt a couple different things. So when you were younger, you did have a bout with depression. So if we can get serious, we're taking a serious turn. That we have to provide something to the viewer that's educational as well. And I think that you've dealt with things in a very positive way throughout your life. So you dealt with depression growing up in, was it high school?
Yeah.
Why are you giving me a weird face?
Well, I don't know. Yes, that is correct.
What would be, and I know that anybody that has depression issues, they deal with it still. They're always going to deal with it, and especially in this weird world.
And you have to deal with it too.
Yeah, I do, exactly. And that's, a partner has to understand that about the person they're with, and COVID, I think, has made things worse, and the lockdowns. And
Well, not for me, because I never did anything different.
yeah.
far as
What
COVID.
caused your depression growing up?
I don't know. Why are you asking me this?
It's an honest question.
I don't know.
Was it pressure? Was it, because you were one of the best barrel racers? Was it? I mean, you grew up in a small town. Your graduation was what, 20 people?
Yeah.
So what was it? What's and again, if there's younger people watching or whatever, what is it that stresses out a high school student?
Babe.
I think it's, honest question.
My parents are going to watch this.
Well, I think they're okay knowing that 16 years ago you dealt with a little bit of
But
depression.
it was because of them.
Well, but why was it because of them?
Well, I guess mostly because they fought all the time.
Yeah. Well, I think it's important because, one of my favorite things, I'm going to be honest with you, one of my favorite things is when we joke, when you're on the phone with your parents, and I do the whole, say you love them, and then your dad or your mom is literally in the back, we do need to say that more, honey.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, families all deal with this. It's not unique to you. Let's be very clear. Families don't know how to say I love you. They don't know how to do different things, and they fight, and they forget that that's reflecting on their kids. And in the end, I do think everybody's trying their best, and I still firmly believe that about everybody. Well, not everybody. The people that I know as parents, including yours. So to those out there that are in their 30s or late 20s or even 40s that are trying to realize how short life is. Sorry about that, Joe. There's a little audio coming from my computer. What would you suggest if there's a way to change the relationship now? If you were to look back, how would you change that? What would you say to your parents as a kid, or what would you say to your parents now another set of parents, not your parents, but another set of parents out there that maybe don't realize that their fighting is affecting their kids?
I don't know. Why are you asking me this?
All right. My suggestion is to lead with a little bit more love, and I think that would be.
I don't talk like that.
I know, but I'm not. I'm just saying what my suggestion would be. I think that it's important to realize, because I do watch the way that you guys are now, and it's night and day difference. You guys have a much more positive relationship than what I would assume. Correct?
What do you mean? Then you would assume?
But just based on the fact that I know that you felt like you weren't loved enough as a kid, or you guys aren't huggers. You guys are not huggers. That's one thing.
No, I'm not. They are.
Yeah.
I'm not. Doesn't matter who it is. I don't like people in my space.
Okay, let's get into then the stuff that causes issues and depression with barrel racing. We'll end on a positive note at the end.
I don't want to talk about that.
It's been a couple of years.
For what?
Well, you went on the last time you went rodeoing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that. I thought you were talking about my parents.
No. We're talking about horses again.
Okay.
The things that you have a much easier time talking about. Non-human. So it's not all sunshine and rainbows when you're on the rodeo road, and whether you're winning or losing. Obviously, you lost a horse almost a year ago, or almost, was it 3 years ago?
Yeah.
So almost while we're recording this at the same time. So explain that and that relationship you had with that horse, and a lot of people in your industry go through it.
Yeah, it's kind of like one of those things that you hope will never happen to you. Like you kind of don't think it will, and then it does, and you're like, well, that was as bad as I could picture it being.
Yeah.
Other than that, not all sunshine and rainbows. Absolutely not, because by yourself you have truck breaks down, trailer breaks down, you have blowouts and flats and hurt horses. And in that instance, I mean, that was almost enough to make me not want to do it again. It was almost enough to make me not want to run barrels anymore. I literally contemplated completely quitting because I didn't want to like deal with that kind of heartbreak again. So, and a lot of people go through it, and a lot of people, they don't get back on a horse. And so, it's a hard thing to get over, and it's, it's just so much out of your control, and you can't control everything. You can't control the ground. You can't control, your horse 100%. So, it was enough to make me want to quit. But somehow, I guess when you have the baby horses and they're, like full of hope, and they're like, oh, well, like, I'll give it another try. And then you fall back into it and you continue doing it.
So, your horse Rapunzel, and it didn't even happen during the run. It happened the night before. Well, it happened the night before.
No, it was during the run.
Right, but it was the run the next day that did it, because you think that it got hurt the night before.
Well, I there's no way I'll ever know, but she may have tweaked something the 2 nights before that, but I don't know. She was completely sound, and that's why I went to make my next run. And I was in a performance in Eagle, Colorado, and she took a bad step, or it wasn't even really a fall, but she took a bad step and broke her pelvis into the joint during the run. So, it's just like a freak thing that doesn't happen often, but it does. So.
Yeah. And when that happened, like, people don't realize, like, if people that are not in that industry, if something happens to your horse, you have to unfortunately put it down. Mm-hmm. If it's in the legs and stuff like that, and you ended up having to come home after that. And that was the one. Was that the only horse you were competing with that year?
No, I had others. I had a couple others in the trailer. She was the one that was the best at the time and was winning the most for me, but it kind of didn't matter. I could have had like my NFR horse in the trailer. I probably still would have came home because it was just... I was out there by myself, so I didn't really have a lot of distractions or like anyone to talk to.
Anybody that's been competing for as long as you have, does that happen to pretty much everybody at least one time?
No.
Really?
No. I mean, it does happen, but I know a handful of people that it's happened to. But of all the barrel racers I know, it's 5% of them that it's happened to, I'd say.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Let's circle back to end it with a last comment on politics. So,
oh joy, my favorite subject.
So the one thing that's cool about us is we see eye to eye on almost everything political. We are conservative in a lot of the ways, and some of our liberal stances are very similar. Like, our belief system on gay conservatives or Republicans, very similar. If you want to be gay, great. And you want to be conservative, cool.
Don't give a shit.
Don't give a shit. That's how I feel on a lot of stuff. So we're kind of a libertarian side. When it comes to the whole world with vaccinations and masks, I know that was one of the things we bonded on. You don't love watching, all the news that I watch, but in terms of the craziness around it, you never even had to really deal with it in Stephenville. Yeah,
I mean, there was like 1 or 2 weeks where, you could only get carry-out food in Stephenville. Like, you couldn't go sit down. You had to, drive through or whatever. But really, there was never any mask mandate or masking, I guess you could say. Everything felt pretty much like normal, besides the few people that actually were watching the news and terrified and living differently in Stephenville, but it was rare. Which that's kind of my theory is why none of us really got sick or get sick as much, is because we're outside all the time. Our immune systems are probably much stronger than people that live in the city and stay inside, that we're outside messing with horse shit and dust and dirt and whatever. I know you can't hardly handle being out in the barn because you get all...
I have bad allergies.
And get allergies real bad. But that's my theory, is that we're just tougher, basically, because we're outside and we have stronger immune systems. And we aren't worried about getting it. Mind thing.
Do you think it's because you were not breastfed?
Is that why I'm so strong?
Yeah, because nature over.
100%.
I was nurtured more as a breastfed child. Do it again.
No.
But you guys are just tougher people across the board. And one of the sexiest things I have to say about you, and I remember on one of our first dates, is you backing up a 30, 40-foot trailer without a problem, and a big F-350. Mm-hmm. Somebody's
got to be the man.
Watch at their shoulders. I see you, Joe. Jeez. So, last words. First off, where can people find you if they want to follow you?
At a barrel race. In my bed? I don't know. I don't even know my Instagram.
It's like K Allen.
You can find me at Kelly Allen, the real Kelly Allen.
Shut
on
up.
Instagram.
K Allen at, what is it, 8817.
You don't even know it. Come on.
You didn't know it either. K Allen.
I know, but you were going to ask me.
I just figured you would know your own.
No,
this is
look
the
at that
shit
stuff.
that I deal
This
with
is why
every day.
we fight.
Anyway, so K Allen, 88, and we have very funny videos. We've got 3 adorable dogs we don't get to talk about. I know that you're going to be shocked, but I think we have to do this again another time. So you'll be the backup. Another time, like Jaco
Backup.
didn't show up today. We'll be getting him next week. Jaco Booyens.
You can find me on Facebook. My name is Kelly Allen.
The Kelly Allen.
No, it's just Kelly Allen. I'm the one with the horse in the profile picture.
I'm not in your profile picture
wait,
anymore?
Maybe you are. In the back, the cover photo.
So the horse's ass is in the profile picture.
No, it's her face.
I was calling myself a horse.
Oh.
She doesn't get
That was
my
a stupid joke. I'm sorry. That was not the sense of humor I'm talking about.
What's the most fun thing that you and I have done together?
Oh, God. January 6th was pretty fun. We've done a lot of fun things.
That was a year and 6 months ago. We haven't topped our first month.
It's been a little stressful the last 6 months. We've had a lot going on, a lot of criminal things, and we've had a lot of stress.
Not us. We're not breaking the law.
We've been dealing with a lot of
Would
criminals.
you spend some of that $1 billion on suing Heather? Did I ask you that before?
Yes, you've already asked me.
I don't have... You beat me so much, Amber Heard, that I literally forget things. Mm-hmm. She's so physically abusive. I don't even know what else I was going to say. I can't remember. It's all shock therapy at this point. Guys, I hope you liked this episode. Again, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Blunt Force, it now is youtube.com/C/Blunt Force Discussion. We have enough followers now. We're able to get that. We do have a lot of people on WeBeam that watch, so thank you. Also to you guys, if you're still around, make sure you check out all of our sponsors that are doing whatever they can to help us with this show. Kelly, you want to be a mogul someday. Get final words.
I do.
You want to own real estate. What's your final piece of advice
I
to
got
those?
mogul confused with influencer. I was like, I don't want to be an influencer. Okay, what was your question?
What's your you are getting to send us out. Right now, you're sending the episode out of Blunt Force Discussion. Mm-hmm. The BFD, you're a big effing deal. That's why you were the Kelly Allen when we started dating. Mm-hmm. That might have been a little bit overreaching.
Wow. You're an ass.
Final words. What can you tell everybody watching? What would you suggest out of life? The secret to life.
What do I suggest out of life?
Secret to life.
The secret to life? Don't get into horses. Number 1. And date your best friend. See how sweet I am?
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Blunt Force Discussion. Catch you next week.